Oh, hi there. Today I've decided to do a bit of a mini review of a classic Technics amplifier from 1998. It may not be the best Technics amp ever made, but it's certainly a very popular and a classic. When these amps come out, they were a bit of a statement. They had a lot to prove and compete with other models. And I think overall they succeeded on most points. This amp is the Technics SU-A900MK2. I've had this amp since new. I've had this amp for 24 years. It's absolutely mint. There is not one dent, scratch or blemish anywhere on this amp. It's been very looked after. I still retain all the box manual instructions. So the review is just basically of the amp, some of its features. First off, it's not the biggest amp, but it is quite a weighty amp. I'm not taking the lid off this amp. There are pictures on the internet. The inside of this amp is a very good layout. This whole left hand side internal of the amp is what's called a hardcore transformer. It's a big weighty large transformer. It occupies the entire left hand side of the amp. Surprisingly, for a powerful amp, there's not a lot of ventilation. Just this small channel down the middle where there's a large heat sink, and it runs two of the IC power bricks, which was considered at the time a new type of design. It also runs a fan at the back. It's very efficient, so that could be the reason why this amp doesn't need huge ventilation hose on the top. It's very efficient at producing its power and also managing its heat. To the right hand side is the main board. Yet this board is very uncomplicated. It's a very simple board. It runs a couple of what they call Technics take bamboo capacitors. This amp runs what's called virtual battery operation. This is to do with the capacitors. It's very easy inside to work on, and seems reliable. Some of the features the amp has. It has a motorized volume control, which is excellent. The amp has the usual facilities. It has a very good selection of input selectors. You get two tape loops, a monitoring circuit. You can put an equalizer if needed, CD, tuner, auxiliary, phono. It has a tape monitoring circuit. You have bass, treble and balance. You have a tone defect, which switches off your balance and tone. It has A and B switchable speakers. A headphone socket. The headphone circuitry on this amp is very good. You can really drive a decent set of headphones. It will also run, because this amp is 90 watts per channel into 8 ohms RMS. It will run A and B together, no problem at all. Some amps, when you go A and B, the overall power will be reduced. This is not the case on the 900MK2. A and B, you still get a very equal strong output. It copes with it fine. This is due to the hardcore transformer, which is large. This amp did have a few problems. I've had one small problem with it, which was to do with the power supply. This amp runs a circuit, a testing circuit, when you initially switch it on. And mine started to develop a fault. It goes for a circuit check, and if there's a fault, it won't allow the output stage to run. This is like a protection circuit. My problem was down to a couple dry joints on the power supply, which has been repaired and is fine. The sound this amp gives is well documented. It gives a very nice sound, an almost like valve amp sort of delivery. It's smooth with big amounts of depth. It will drive at high volumes with no problem, minimum distortion. It will run hard all day long. It's just a very nice sounding amp. The magazines at the time all said that it really delivers in all aspects. So this is pretty much my little mini review today. There is one little problem these amps can or could suffer with. They run what's called power brick ICs. There's two modular power ICs on this amp. One for the left channel, one for the right. And sometimes they can develop faults or go down on one channel. The problem is with these power ICs, they're a very good design, and they were very popular back in '98 and prior to that. But the problems they can suffer with is if one goes down, you have to replace the whole IC block. These power ICs are hard to find nowadays, and they're also very expensive. So in the event of a output failure, could be a financial sort of problem. It could cost a fair bit of money to repair, if indeed you can locate new transistor IC blocks. But other than that, it's a great amp. They're still going for strong money on the used market, but they have to be mint. If they're in mint excellent condition, they will still sell for £400 to £500 used. So they represent a really good amp to buy. So if you get the chance, try one. You will not be disappointed.